I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And today we're going to be talking about I'm afraid my ex won't reach out during no contact. I think this is absolutely understandable, and probably just about everybody feels this right after a breakup.
Absolutely.
And while they're in no contact, right? No contact, or not reaching out to an ex, as we like to share, is so scary.
Very.
Because now you feel, in a sense, like you don't have any power to control the situation. But ultimately, it gives you a lot more power in the long run. Because in the short run, the reaching out, the calling, the texting, the grand gestures, they just don't work.
No, they push people away further.
Yeah, and so we're always going to look for ways to put you in a situation that's going to, turn things around, or at least give you an opportunity. But it's terrifying to think that your ex won't reach out, right? Because you're thinking, they're so upset at me, they're so angry at me, they gave me all these reasons why they don't want to be with me anymore. Why would they want to talk to me ever again?
But they never can say that quite up front.
Usually not, no.
Usually not.
But we want to say right up front, most people will hear from their ex at some point.
Absolutely.
Okay? We both believe that, and Coach Victoria believes that too. We really do think at some point you will hear from your ex. Now, at the start of every video, I say every situation is different, every breakup is different. So not all of you will, and not all of you will get another opportunity with your ex.
Even if you do hear from them.
Yes, that's true. But we do see that at some point, exes often are curious enough to reach out to you and to kind of look at things, to evaluate, to reconsider, to revisit. And, it's very comforting to know that that is the process that we see time and time again.
So the odds are in your favor.
The odds are in your favor, even though it doesn't...
Not necessarily for getting back together, but for at least having a contact.
Yes. There's another key part to this. Most of you probably won't hear from your ex for months.
That's the hardest part.
Yes.
When do you think I might hear from him or her?
Typically, months, okay? I think like in the 4-month range, 5-month range, they really get to have, that separation elation that they've had, and then they have time to process and think about and wonder. But obviously, I don't mean if you've been doing any kind of reaching out or pressuring them, any of the handwritten letters and grand gestures, all those things, that obviously pushes it away a lot further. Right. But they really need about 4 to 5 months of complete silence before they really are gonna reach out. Now, of course, sometimes people reach out after a couple days or even a couple of weeks. But for the most part, it takes them that amount of time to work through some stuff. It's just the way I think people are, kind of like even with grieving and stuff.
Yes.
The process.
Yes, it takes a long time, and it is a process. It's important to remember that in the days of instant.
Now, I think one of the things that's so upsetting is because some people will say 30 days, 45 days. I think that's nonsense.
I do too.
I think it's absolute nonsense. And I think it's rare to hear from your ex within that time. But guess what? The way I see it, this is a good thing. The longer you have from hearing from your ex, the more opportunity you have to really reevaluate, look at what happened, and look at what you can do to turn it around. I would much rather have more time to prepare for something than to be, shocked by hearing from my ex after, a couple days or weeks, and then having to show them that you've changed within a short amount of time when you haven't.
Which can't happen.
Yeah. So I would much rather have that opportunity, and, we have over 1,000 videos. Oh, I think over 1,100 at this point.
Wow.
Which is amazing. I remember, a lot of people were asking me from the get-go, well, how come you don't have one of those X-Back guides? We won't say names. And I didn't want to do anything like that. I wanted to put out something that I really believed in. And so even the workbooks, we had put out over 500 videos before we even created the workbooks with me and Coach Victoria. And then the Creative Healing course, which Margaret oversaw that too.
Right.
So, there's tons of stuff that can give you a leg up in your situation, and that time really allows you to evaluate things, maybe get into therapy.
But I have the worst anxiety on earth, and if I don't talk to her, I'm going to die.
That's what it feels like. It really does feel like that. And I know, because I have been there, and I know that feeling.
And some
It's
of us
awful.
have a feeling, again, depending on our early life, that when we don't see people, maybe they're not there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They'll forget about you.
They'll forget about you.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
One of the biggest mistakes that I think you can make while you're in no contact is focusing on if they come back. Okay, are they going to come back? I think so many of you guys waste more time on if than preparing like they would. How would you act differently if you knew you were going to have one more opportunity? I think that's the healthier way to go, right?
Instead of sitting in a state of panic for weeks or months, which can happen.
And I think people just become obsessed of, are they coming back? Will I ever hear from them? Blah, blah. Yeah. Instead of really acting like, okay, they're going to come back at some point, and I want to blow them away. That's the way I would like to prepare.
With my newfound wisdom and health.
Exactly. Right. And enlightenment and understanding.
Yeah.
Right? That's how I want you guys to handle situations, right? It's like I was thinking, how can I get you to really see what I mean by this? Like, if you go to the plate and you strike out, and you go to the bench, and all you think about is, wow, do I get another at-bat? Will I get another at-bat? And just keep wondering about, will I get another at-bat? Well, you're going to be in a much different position if you think, okay, when I get another at-bat, how am I going to act? I got to know what this guy pitches. I want to know the pitches I couldn't hit by him. He'll probably throw those again. Where are my weaknesses in my swing? What did I make mistake in these, my pitch counts before? And preparing a plan of attack. That's going to help you, as opposed to, are they going to ever reach out to me again?
Right.
Most of you, the answer is yes. Right?
But it puts all the power in their hands and none in yours.
Yeah. I think it's absolutely normal to feel terrified and scared.
Well, one of the most profound emotions we have as human beings is separation anxiety.
That's right.
And it comes at its most primitive and scary when we have a breakup.
Yes. And your body is releasing all kinds of chemicals that are telling you reconnect or die.
Yeah.
Reconnect or die.
That's exactly what they're saying. And it's no less dramatic than that. Reconnect or you're going to die.
That's what it feels like. You literally feel like, I remember doing research on breakups many, many years ago before I even launched the channel and hearing about it feels like death. And I'm like, yes, now that I hear that, it really did feel like death.
Because if you think about evolution, remember, which is why we have separation anxiety. If we got separated from mom or our tribe or whoever they were, we could die. Babies can't take care of themselves.
Yes.
So separation can bring up all kinds of profound feelings of terror and panic.
That's right. So biologically, your brain in many ways is telling you reconnect with them or you're going to die.
You're going to die.
You can't take care of yourself.
But it's not an exaggeration that it can feel that scary.
And I think that your brain does that to get the child or the infant to go back to mommy, to daddy, and not toddle away too far.
Right.
I think there's some kind of alarm system.
Absolutely.
Just going off in you. And so, that childhood feeling is going to come up and be mirrored with your romantic partners, which sounds crazy, right? At first you hear it and you're like, what? This doesn't make any sense.
What are they talking about? Right.
But it's true.
And the more you see, the more you can see it's true.
And if you just think about your own internal feelings, I felt like I had a giant hole in my chest.
Right.
It literally felt like a cavity.
Well, we've learned now to ask people, where do you feel this in your body? Yeah. You felt like somebody had taken your heart. Literally.
The entire whole chest, it just felt like, I can't even describe that feeling. It was so odd.
And of course, if it brings back early memories, sometimes we don't have words for those. And it can take a long time to learn to do what you just did, which is to put words to how you feel.
Yeah. So, your ex also had that bond with you, though. Okay? So you're experiencing it because they kind of were the one to abandon you. But if you stop reaching out and you are no longer making contact with them or doing anything to try and, connect with them, not making any bids to connect, then at some point they are likely to feel that separation anxiety too.
Yeah. All you have to do is wait.
Yeah.
It will happen.
That's the hard part, is the waiting and the wondering.
And in the meantime, you've heard that they're seeing somebody else and you're totally panicked.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like I said before, you're already down the road to their wedding.
Yeah. So when the relationship ends, the bond impacts them. The ending of that relationship impacts them. Now, they may not show you. They may have their walls up and be guarded because they don't want to let you know those things, but it's absolutely true. And there are going to be times where your ex is scared about losing you.
Yeah.
If you're reaching out, if you're trying to send them clean slate messages or handwritten letters, they're not going to be afraid of those things. Why would they be? You're reaching out to them. You're making an effort to connect with them. But when you stop those behaviors, then your ex starts to become afraid of losing you. And they're going to be more likely to stalk your social media, ask friends and family about you, drive past your work. Because, and this is important, no contact, no reaching out is very powerful on them.
And it's important to remember that. What most people say is, I feel like I'm not doing anything. No, this is not to just do something. It's a strategy.
Yes. I don't think there's anything that's more powerful to them than no longer reaching out and not making any effort to repair it. Right? If
the silence is deafening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because now they don't know if they can connect with you at any point. They don't. I had a guy today that he didn't reply to one of his ex's text messages, and I don't know why he did. I don't remember. But we had done our third call, and after the second one, for some reason, he didn't respond to her. Well, they've been talking recently, and she said, I thought you hated me because you didn't respond to that message. We don't tell you guys not to respond, so I don't know why he didn't respond.
Yeah.
But you could see,
Yeah.
Look at how quickly, he didn't know that she had been thinking that she was afraid he hated her. And so, my point is, your ex goes through a lot of things that you don't realize, right? And he wouldn't have known that until she said it to him. So, over time, things become your advantage. If you're working on yourself, if you're growing, if you're looking at the issues you've had and working at really coming up with solutions to improving those areas, it gives you the advantage because you're almost certainly working harder than your ex, right? There's
Chances
something,
are. Chances are.
So, even though right after the breakup, your ex is feeling relieved, and that's not always true, right, Margaret?
No, most of the time. Sometimes people are very upset to have to break up.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
So, yes, there are a lot of times people are relieved after a breakup. Maybe they were unhappy. Maybe they asked you to change or do something differently and you didn't. Whatever the reason is. But that's not always the case. There's not always a relief stage. Like I said, every relationship is different. Every breakup is different. And I keep going back to that because sometimes people can get caught up on something and it doesn't really affect their situation.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, a lot of times your ex will start going out on dates with other people.
That's right. And that's the killer.
It's horrible. Because many times we feel like, well, they're going to see our ex as amazing as I did, so I'm going to lose them forever.
That's right. Because the minute somebody else gets a look at him or her, they're going to grab him.
Yeah. But that's not necessarily true. In fact, I think most of the time it's not true. You know, when you've bonded and attached to your ex, that's a very different dynamic than you just start talking to somebody new and it's kind of fun and exciting in the beginning. You like the attention. That's a very different thing than attachment.
Oh, yes.
And so, you know, the grass isn't always greener. Okay?
You may worry that they'll find greener grass.
Yep. And maybe sometimes the grass will be greener, but you got to take care of your own lawn. You got to take care of it. And so when they come back or revisit or take a look, they're like, oh, wow, this is a lot different than what I thought. Yep. I can't believe this. And oftentimes it gives you the opportunity to be the person that they really saw the potential in you. And they don't want to miss out on that person. Right?
Right.
So dating is not going to be easy for your ex, even though it looks like it. And a lot of times we think, oh my God, they're texting this new person. It's going to be great. It must be amazing.
They're going to go off into the sunset. I just know it.
Yeah. But a lot of times that's just not the case. And their new relationship rarely works or rarely lasts. And I think probably, 3 to 4 months is where most of them fall apart right there.
Because you can't really go from one relationship to the other without grieving in between.
Well, it's not healthy.
No.
Right? Especially any long-term relationship.
Right.
So you got to consider all these things and realize that there's a high probability that you'll hear from your ex. Okay? Most of you at some point will hear from your ex. And I'm not going to say everybody because that's certainly not true.
No.
And I'm not going to say that you'll all have a chance with your ex because that's not true. But I want to put you in the best position to where, guess what? Either they come back and they're blown away, or you're going to meet somebody else and you're going to blow them away.
There you go.
Because you see what it's like with dating, and you've seen how challenging it is and how immature people are, or selfish or self-absorbed, or their mental health is poor.
Yep.
And so if you really work on all those areas for yourself, you're going to be a lot more likely to impress somebody new.
Yeah. You're going to impress a healthier person, perhaps.
Yeah. And so if they don't come back, your dating life is going to improve by tenfold, as opposed to if you're just, going back to your old ways and doing things that may turn off new people.
Yeah. And the worst of it, I would say, is the first month. What do you think, Craig?
More like the first year and a half for me.
But the most acute, when you're not sure you can even function.
I would say, yeah, at least the first, I remember with some of my breakups, it felt like, at least 3 to 4 months where it was really bad.
Right. Where people say, I can't eat, I can't sleep, I never know if I'm going to be able to go to work in the morning,
Yeah, so don't feel bad if you're struggling 4, 5, 6 months later. I saw somebody, I did an email coaching with somebody recently that was going on I think 3 or 4 years. And, I'm concerned for them because that's a long time to be stuck.
Oh yeah, that's a very long time.
And in fact, we might do an email coaching for a video on that one. Because, I think a solid year is perfectly reasonable to get over.
Pretty normal.
A significant relationship. But if you're going on years, you really want to work through that and get to a place where you're feeling healthy and happy and enjoying life again, and that doesn't even mean that you won't hear from an ex years later, because they do
that
reach out.
That happens too.
Yeah. Exes come back. I think my record was in the 30s. 30 plus years somebody came back.
Wow.
Yeah. So obviously we don't want to wait 30 plus years to try and repair a situation, but don't be surprised if your ex comes back after years. I have people tell me that all the time.
Right.
And exes do reach out all the time. So focus on what you can change. Focus on how you can grow. And act as if you're going to hear from them at least one more time. Prepare yourself for that. I think that's a good place to keep yourself.
That's right.
And keeps you grounded on focusing on the growth, as opposed to, if I hear from them, will I hear from them, which I think causes us to waste a lot of time.
And beat ourselves up a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please don't beat yourself up. I know we say it all the time. It takes energy that you need to use for healing. Okay?
Yep. Yeah. And, you know, Margaret and I have been talking about this and thinking about this for many years now.
Yes.
And we share all this information with you to put you in the best position of turning things around. And, you know, that's why we laugh at things like the accountability letter or the clean slate message, because the results just are so poor with them that we don't want to see you guys do those things. And read the comment section. People will tell you, you know, what happens. No contact and not reaching out to them in most cases is the most powerful thing that you can do.
Absolutely.
And of course,
make them wonder.
Yes. And if you want to talk to us about your situation, just sign up for a coaching. I do email, I do Skype. Margaret is available for Skype coaching.
If you feel I can be helpful, please sign up.
And we'll help you evaluate your situation and talk about everything with you. It feels really good when you talk about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it can make you feel a whole lot better.
It really does. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. If you need our help, you know how to get it. That's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And we will talk with you soon. To get my help personally, go to AskCraig.net and click on Schedule Coaching and choose the option that works best for you. I do email coaching or Skype. To schedule a coaching with Margaret, click on Margaret on the top of the page and order a Skype with her. For the Knowledge Creative Healing course, click on the link at the top of the page and click Get Started Now.